Hey film friends, I'm Nick Furman. This is Furman on Film. Welcome to the channel. The summer movie season has arrived and what do we have here? No Marvel movie in the early May slot? What do we have instead? A romantic comedy action-adventure story that pays homage to stuntmen and stars Ryan Gosling essentially playing a stunt-cast version of himself. A movie within a movie. He and Emily Blunt are making a sci-fi epic cosmic love story inside a film that playfully sends up actors and film execs in equal measure. Remember, the nihilism is the sexy bacon. This is David Leitch's The Fall Guy.
Shot to the heart, and you're too late, darling, you give love.
Well, before you even get to the opening credits, you see director David Leitch on screen gift wrapping this entire project for us. Leitch was himself a stuntman and stunt coordinator, the sort of unofficial director of the original John Wick. He describes The Fall Guy as a love letter to the stunt community. And spoilers aside, he grants us an end credits montage which does exactly this, along with several scenes which poke fun at the actors who are just a little dim. They kind of take their doubles for granted. And a pretty pointed dig at the Academy, who has long failed to recognize the incredible work of stunt teams. But if you've been in the Leitch universe before, you know he never really lets this stuff get too serious. His action and humor were always far more daffy and playfully tongue-in-cheek than Stahelski's. This is why I say I can't think of a more perfect role for Ryan Gosling. I mean, this dude has been on fire since Ken-splaining the world to us last year. Here, he's allowed to be pretty perfectly what he is. Charming, funny, and able to pull on our heartstrings at the same time. I think this is the greatest thing to recommend The Fall Guy to audiences. Quite simply, it's hilarious. The scene where Blunt and Gosling are working through their own relationship drama on set via the plot of this ridiculous film they're making, Metalstorm, which, by the way, is so Dune that it actually takes one of those chanted music pieces and lifts it right out of Denis' film. It's kind of like Guardians and Galaxy Quest at the same time, though, too. Anyway, the scene basically demonstrates two things. One, the movie is uproarious. And two, the real selling point of The Fall Guy is the incredible chemistry between its two leads. I've already said how good Gosling is, and I'm not sure if Jodie the director is a fully orbed and well-written character, but Emily Blunt soars and elevates it. The two of them are so magnetic that we'd stay and watch whatever hijinks ensue between them. Finally, I already made mention to this before, but the film is super self-aware. From the sweet, cheesy piano music which just rises in the mix at all the right emotional moments, to just movie name drop after name drop, quoting from Last of the Mohicans, Notting Hill, The Fugitive, and so many more. Lastly, of course, Aaron Taylor-Johnson sort of doing the McConaughey drawl, all right, sort of Tom Cruise, and a bunch of other subtle inside baseball jabs at the inner workings of the industry. Alright, so look, I've got several little small gripes and one rather large one. First, there are several moments where the visual effects are just obvious. It's not major, but for a film that purports to be so full of practical effects and so stunt-bound, seeing these little computer-generated seams just causes some cognitive dissonance. Secondly, how do we feel about unnecessary voiceover? I don't really like it at all. It sucks. This is pointless. Why am I still talking to myself? I guess you can excuse it here under the same banner as the cheesy romance music, just a little throwback feel, but it's not needed. A bigger nitpick for me is this. I just hate when movies do that thing where they hide something from a major character in order to reveal it much later in the third act. It's supposed to be for maximal impact, but it's actually inauthentic to how the characters would really behave. Minor spoiler coming, so if you don't want it, fast forward 20 seconds. How about this? Why not just tell her, Colt? You blew it with Jodie, you're trying to make it right. Hey, by the way, your lead actor on this film has gone missing. The suspicious producer Gail has told me to keep my mouth shut about it, but something feels weird and I want to be with you, so here's the information. Lastly, okay, Here's the big one. Just to put it simply, I like the chemistry of the two leads much more than the film that was around them. That's cause you're a little bit... The side story, particularly in the middle hour, is convoluted and thin. This whole movie is intentionally basically just chemistry plus stunts. It's just kind of hard to sustain that for 2 hours if all of this, where's Tom Ryder and who are these henchmen, is never completely gripping. This is especially true when so much of Jodie and Colt's relationship is over phone calls and texts. Blunt and Gosling are so kinetic together on screen, I just wanted that to be like the whole movie. Bottom line, I like the romantic comedy much more than the action adventure. So, what do we conclude? The Fall Guy is a delightful summer movie that stands out with its playful homage to stuntmen, featuring Gosling and Blunt in a hilariously self-aware romantic comedy action adventure. Directed by former stuntman David Leitch, the film excels with the incredible chemistry of its leads. And though it revels in its tongue-in-cheek humor and industry in-jokes, it occasionally falters with obvious visual effects and a convoluted side plot. Still, The Fall Guy is a must-see for fans of lighthearted meta-cinema.
Shot to the heart, and you're too late, darling, you give love.
Well, there you have it. The only thing left to discuss is our rating for this picture. FOF gives The Fall Guy 3.7 out of 5 stars. If you enjoy this review, please let us know by giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. Also, don't forget to visit FurmanOnFilm.com for even more movie content. Thanks for watching. I'm Nick Furman. This is Furman on Film. Stay firm, my friends.